Well, this is Guys and Eyes and Watches with the Morning Espresso, and I just want to talk about a knife. Now, this is the Hogue. Let's move the espresso. This is the Hogue name right there. G10 scales. 4-inch blade. And to be honest, I really honestly don't know where to start with this knife. I mean, I am really actually confused, because the person that made this knife did two things wrong. Everyone knows when I review something, I find and I start attacking the weaknesses in a design. One weakness is he didn't anticipate the thickness of the clothes that I wear, and the clip is a little tight there. For the majority of clothes out there, if you're not wearing Wrangler wear, which I wear Wrangler work carpenter's pants all the time because I carry a pocket knife and in my back pocket, and it has Cordura lined pockets. One other issue with this knife is the finish on this. Is a push button knife. The finish on all three of these feels really similar. So if you want to flick it out like an axis lock, to press that button, flip it out like an axis lock, you know, you sometimes, I lose the button. And I watched this review from Apostle P on the aluminum handle version of this knife. And to tell you the God's honest truth, even though he was impressed with the aluminum handle one, I'm still not. Why am I not? Number one, it's aluminum. Two, it has washers in it. That's just a phosphor bronze and a Teflon washer. And how many designs have you seen that are exactly and precisely like that? Okay? The person that designed this G10 knife is actually in the design world. I mean, that's an amazing design. There are very few times I look at a knife, or I look at something, look at a building, or I look at a faucet, or I look at whatever, and I can generally understand where the designer is coming from, where their influences are, this, that, or the other. This one, I have no idea. The amount of creativity that's in this knife, I'm really impressed with. Of course, we can go over the fact that it's 154 cm steel. It has a mirror polish on the blade. It's made in the United States. It has, dual thumb studs and this, there, the other, and and it can't be switched over to left-hand carry because the texturing is only on one side. I'm gonna tell you guys honest truth, none of that shit really matters. In reality, the majority of the market's right-handed, or even left-handed people who carry knives right-handed. So, yeah, 5% of the market out there, possibly this doesn't fit or whatever. But I'm going to tell you, the amount of creativity that went into this is amazing. This G-Mascus, let's just start there. Number one, as far as a hard use knife goes, this is two pieces of G10 put together to make a frame. So there's one less joint, one less connection, one less whatever you want to call it on the back of this knife. There's no need for a spacer. It's made into it. You have screws coming from one side, screwing into the other, because you don't have a spacer there that has to be screwed in from both sides. That's half the amount of failure points. that's more stable. This G10, you know, people go, well, it's just got a design, this, that, or the other, da, 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 da. But you have to understand how that design is made. About the layers. When you're layering up G10, making G10, a perfect G10 is perfectly flat. Every layer of whatever material you're epoxying is perfectly flat. If it's not perfectly flat, it makes the handle look all funky. They have taken a defect in the in the damn knife world, or in any type of world, and taken it to an art form, because this took work. And there is a tremendous amount of material that has been removed to create this pattern. That's not easy. If they were just perfectly flat layers and this, that, or the other, da 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 da, you know, but they're not. So they've taken the imperfection of what something you would have thrown out, enhanced it, and taken it to an art form. Do I like the green? Yes, I like it very much. I'm going to tell you, I bought this knife on Amazon for $159 or $158. I had to pay tax on it, so I've got basically there's $170 in this knife. I sold a couple knives and sent back a couple knives. I sent back a couple knives because I just wanted to see this one, because it was intriguing. Now the aluminum handle one, as I said, has washers in it. I think Apostle P said phosphor bronze and Teflon, which there's nothing inspiring there. Here there are no washers. There's a metal frame that is inlaid into the G10, and all of this mechanism is tied to, that actually acts as the washers and the support structure for this entire part of the knife. The metal comes back to, well, about right in here on this side, about right here on this side, the end of my finger. This is really creative, folks. Is the button and everything having the same texture so that you can't find one to shut the knife or possibly open it like an axis lock a valid argument? I don't believe so, because you've got a really good thumb stud there. It's really well milled out there. It's really well milled out there. I mean, the pocket clip, I hate to sit there and say that it's like anything else. It's like sleeping bags. You have one that works for you, da 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 da. Everybody sleeps a little bit differently. You know, sleeping mats, sleeping this, there, or the other. You know, I can't, that's not a valid knock, okay? But I'm hoping, I really hope this. You know, I hate to profile people, but Elijahwitz, what I'm hoping is, and I hope this in a major way, I hope you're Jewish. I hope IWI could afford you and would pay you and bring you in to do some of their material work, because I am going to tell you, the collaboration would take the Tavor to a new level. Because anyone who designed this knife and came out of nowhere with a new company, Hogue Manufacturing, out in California, to fabricate this and actually execute it. Like I said, the aluminum one, I'm not inspired by. Cool blade, cool lockup design, da 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 da. You know, I can write a, I can do CAD and get a damn computer to pump out whatever. But this, the amount of work that went into this particular knife, and it was the same price on Amazon as the aluminum one, but this is like, It's the difference between, I don't know, I live in Corvette town. It's the difference between a standard Corvette and a Z06. They look like they're the same, but buddy, get behind the wheel and they're totally different. The reason I bought this knife, in reality, well, it's based on Apostle P's review, but more importantly, it's because instead of, getting, it's made in America, but it's the G10 handle. Number one, I just wanted to see the precision in the work. I just wanted to see how it was put together. I just wanted to see the way they inletted the steel frame. I just wanted to see, where this knife came from. And if you read online, this knife is not reviewed very well on Amazon. And the biggest complaint is the fact that the handle is light. The balance point of this knife is right on that button. Okay? That's not too far. That's not, yeah, it's got a heavy blade. It's got this, that, or the other. But, pull up your pants, and let's be big boys and girls and understand the concept of, it's light. You're not going to make steel lighter. That's what titanium is, and you're not making great knives out of it. I don't know. I've talked about it for 11 minutes, and I just don't know that I can do this knife justice. In fact, I know I can't. If anyone from IWI is watching this damn video, because hopefully you are cyber stalking me, you need this man in your crew. You need this man's understanding. You need to have some of your designers and engineers with this guy for a few days, because he is an extremely, apparently creative, intelligent designer who understands manufacturing and fabricating. Because when you take Hogue, a grip manufacturer, and I know they have all of the manufacturing skills and this, that, or the other, but you take them from grips to this, and I know they had the equipment, maybe except for some heat treaters. It didn't take much to take them into here, because they already had the CNC, they already had this, there, the other, they already had people who were experienced on the CNC machines, they already had designers to actually transfer the design into coordinates. And I'm impressed. And very few things impress me. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and I'm going to stop rambling, but if you ever get a chance to get one of these Hogue knives in your hand, and not, watch or read the internet reviews on Amazon and just take a leap of faith, you might be impressed. One of the things that I noticed, and I know I got a really good example, is be careful of looseness in this lock. This lock locks it open. It will not lock it closed. Some people have experienced that, but you hear that. This one doesn't experience that. And there's a spring in there that you can actually adjust to make that better. It's just a simple spring, believe it or not. Not a coil spring, but actually just an M-shaped spring in there. I don't know. I'm impressed. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and I'm not easily impressed. And those were the only two knocks I could give it, and I look. I mean, that's what I do. In my own company, I find problems with things. Not nobody calls me in just to go, oh my God, blow sunshine up my ass. No, I come in to tell you what you're doing wrong. I'm telling you what you're doing wrong after you just won an award for doing everything right. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and it's a good knife. I hope they are consistent enough to produce every knife like this, because if they do, some people are getting some really cool knives in their hands with some really creative engineering and some really cool design. And who would have thought they would have taken G10 and created a situation where you have more waste, where you have more defects, and raised it to the level of art. Because there's a lot of waste created with this handle. I mean, it's just, the G10 goes up in smoke. Basically becomes dust when it's being milled. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and I'll quit talking. Have a good one.